EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the third leg of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Today, it's live opening round coverage of the Orlando Classic. Welcome to the King's Palace. This is Rich Loader alongside Frank Nobilo, set to bring you all the action for EA Sports. Today, we're here at Arnold Palmer's Bay Hill Club and Lodge. Frank, it's right in the heart of Orlando, Florida. You've played this course before. What do you need to look out for?
Ideally, you've got to hit the ball with a high, soft landing flight, which is not a shot that most amateurs have in their bag. But Florida courses, they differ from a lot of the other courses within North America, and what they lack in change of elevation, they make up in difficulty by the use of water and very firm greens.
It is a par 72 with a tough finishing stretch. Frank, when you look at great rivalries in sports, you realize that athletes need each other. Joe Frazier needed Muhammad Ali to achieve greatness, to achieve legendary status. And in golf, Tom Watson needed Jack Nicklaus to push him to another level.
And also to define an era. Without one, we couldn't think of the 80s or the 90s or the 2000s or the 2010s. You need those players to define that era. So you need competition. Competition is not without rivalry.
Well, this is the kind of wind that separates the great players from the average players. You really have to be strong to handle these kinds of winds. Has such a classic, smooth tempo. Beautiful swing.
That's an absolute beauty.
Frank, you like his chances to walk away with a par here?
Well, with a good shot, Rich, yeah, that's certainly on the cards in that. And you think you just write a par down at the end of the hole. Don't tell anyone about it. It certainly won't affect the scorecard at the end of the day. So that's the goal right here.
So he didn't hit the green in regulation, but he still has a reasonably good chance to save his par, about 10 feet away. Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. So just getting started, even par so far. Here at the 231-yard par 3 second, Frank, pretty good hole.
It certainly is, Rich. The carry on the right side's a little shorter, but if you're going to take it down the left side, you've got to fly that ball at least another 20 yards.
Try up next. This is a pretty long putt here. You'd be happy to get this to within 2 or 3 feet. You really want to take the stress out of that next putt. That's a nice lag putt. Frank, what would you focus on a long putt?
That 3-foot circle, obviously you allow yourself a little bit more the further and further away you get, but just expectations, lower them a little bit. There's certain distances, just take 2.
That's a par, and that keeps the scorecard clean, still even for the round. Frank, now to the third hole, and where's the trouble here? That's fairly obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's one thing you don't want to remind yourself of. There's a bunker all the way down the right side. That's a good place to aim.
Oh, this looks good.
Certainly is.
He has given this one the full treatment. Perfect release through the ball. And this shot is on the fairway, over 300 yards. Second shot here at the third.
One of the narrowest greens at Bay Hill, water, as you can see on that left side. So for the faint of heart, you're going to miss, if anything, to that right side. And that's exactly where they put a little bunker. So be very straight on the second.
Appears to be a smart shot, Frank.
Yeah, no problem here. That's going to fly all the way.
Not terrible, but not his best.
Yeah, outside chance, really, for birdie, but really, it's a rather poor approach shot. Even par, currently.
Speed wasn't bad on that long putt, but the read wasn't very good. Could use this, a putt for par. Been a little too much of that, Frank, just sort of ho-hum pars. Back over now to the fourth. Frank, when you get out of the gates, as our featured golfer has done, with a lot of pars, steady play, what's the mindset?
You've got to keep doing that, Rich. Just maybe get a little closer to the hole, drive a little bit better, work on the pace of the putting. Just little gains, and then all of a sudden you're going to notice a big difference in the scorecard.
Just a good solid tee shot right there, about 280 yards.
Second shot.
Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
That is an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's a formality now.
And getting ready for the putt. And who knows? It is a 4-round tournament, setting himself up for a good weekend, maybe a great one. The young star makes his birdie. Frank, at the fourth, we pulled the hammer out. Here, maybe it's a scalpel?
Well, it just depends. A little trailing breeze. A drive is not always a bad play here. 367 yards to the front. There's a little kick forward. So, wind behind your back, almost worth a go.
Well, this one's sweet, Frank.
Super.
This is when the game is fun, Frank, when you get one high in the air and you have a down breeze and you just watch it stays in the air forever.
Yeah, the hang time on that.
Frank, nice to have a short iron into a par 4 here at Bay Hill, but still no guarantee that you'll make the birdie or even par.
But a reward for a good one, exactly the way you've described it. This is one hole that's a swing hole. Hit a good shot in here, you're going to have inside 10, 15 feet for a birdie. Make a mistake, then all of a sudden you're scratching your head. How did I make 5?
That is a really good shot landing close to the flagstick. Frank, this would be a nice way to jumpstart the round.
Yeah, his momentum can quickly go in the right direction if he makes this.
Needs a few more of those. That was a good birdie.
Yeah, this time, that one gets him in the top 10.
Frank, back in 1998, by any chance, do you remember exactly how many golf balls John Daly hit into the water at the 6th?
It was half a dozen. Half a box of golf balls.
Good contact, good result. Frank, not overly long, but still a pretty good spot and in the fairway.
Yeah, that's in that 280 mark.
Second shot coming up here at the par 5. Frankie's cranking it and banking it. Giant drives, a boatload of birdies. What a round.
Yeah, these are the days you just dream for. We know golf's not that easy, but on a day like today, savor it and just keep going. Keep doing it. Hazard.
Maybe wet. Just averted danger right there. So close.
Why does he have all the luck?
This one just requires a little bit of focus. Frank didn't take notice of that name until right now, until that eagle.
And it started to send a whole ripple through the tournament.
Now at the par 3-7, Frank, it's just under 200 yards.
But it's still quite daunting. A very narrow entry on that left side. So you've got to hit the ball flush off the tee. Really guarantee a carry of that over that right bunker. So it's still a daunting tee shot.
Frank, at this, the highest level of the game, the margins are so razor thin between winning and losing. It becomes about not wasting shots, and I think that's why players really enjoy stroke play.
I think you hit the nail on the head, Rich. That's why the best players, they want every shot to count, and the best format of golf that requires that is stroke play. In match play, you can get away with a big number. In stroke play, they want it to be a body of work. Every single shot adding to the score. In the direction of the sand.
Looks like it. Not quite what he wanted. Tee shot is in the bunker. All right, so greenside bunker. What's he looking to do with this shot, Frank?
Well, really you have to look at the amount of green you got to play with. You don't have to try and fly the ball right by the flag. Allow it to run. Plus, if you can get it to run like a putt, you never know. It might just go in.
Great shot coming out of that bunker right there.
Showing some skills today.
Locked in on the read and the speed.
That's a good par there, Rich.
Frank, how about the 8th par 4, one of the more intriguing setups?
Ideally, you want to just work your tee shot away from that bunker. But this is one fairway you must hit because it's one of the toughest second shots on the golf course. Arnold Palmer's legacy to golf is in so many different areas. We see it just in the way people react to the game. But really, when we go to Bay Hill, it's the one golf course that you'll see you've been out there. His clubs are always on the back of a cart. He's ready to go to the range. It's almost in every little blade of grass out there because Arnold plays there whenever he can. The king, whatever you want to call him, Mr. Palmer. He lives and breathes at Bay Hill. And when the tournament comes around, every March, it's a great reminder to not just Mr. Palmer, but also the golf course and all those little obstacles that he put in your way, water normally, and all the great events. And it's fun. It's a golf course, too, that anybody can play.
When I think of Arnold Palmer, I think the young professionals could learn just a few things from one of the all-time greats. First of all, reach out to the galleries, sign autographs.
Look him in the eye, too.
Make eye contact as he always did. Number 2, own your golf swing. Whatever it is, believe in it. May be a little different. It may not be by the book, but own it and be comfortable with it. And then I think number 3, go for it. That's what Arnie always did. Go for it at the risk of failure because you'll never be great if you just lay back all the time. Arnie always went for it.
One little lesson, too, you reminded me there. The one common denominator with just about every great player is a good grip. Arnold Palmer learned that for his dad. So if you're picking up a golf club for the first time or playing it for the 100th time, remember, good grip will take you a long way.
This is a good move. Another birdie. Now to 5 under for the tournament. It's a consistent theme here at Bay Hill, if you can carry it 300 yards.
Bay Hill always favors the longer hitter.
He makes a great pass at the golf ball. It's powerful, but it's rhythmic at the same time.
Oh, that's fine.
Frank, this really is a remarkable turn of events, considering that earlier we had pretty much written him off.
Well, we had, and for good reason, too. He was not playing well. It looked like the round was going to continue to go in that direction. But somehow, and believe me, I don't know how, he's just completely turned this round around.
Frank, you've played in conditions all over the world. Here come the winds now. What's the mindset?
Well, this is really what separates the men from the boys. This is where you've got to tell yourself, and it's an advantage to you. Obviously, the scores will go up a little bit, given the conditions. But once again, this is going to suit the stronger player today.
You like the old phrase, swing easy when it's breezy?
Definitely when you're hitting it into a head breeze. But down breeze, tee it up a little bit, try and ride that wind some more.
This one's looking good. Chance to close out the front side here with a birdie. Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. A nice birdie, and no doubt he's feeling pretty good about his position on this leaderboard.
A series of good holes in a row has got him to this point.
Setting up to start the back nine here, and if it's anywhere near as good as the front nine, Frank, he'll be very happy with his score at the end of the day.
Yeah, the hardest thing right now is to just keep doing the same thing without focusing on the score. This is not heading in the right direction.
No, it looks like it's going to be in the rough. So that sets up a tougher second shot, missing the fairway with the drive, now in the rough. See if he can clip this one perfectly, drive it in there from about 120 yards. Frank, this is good golfing weather. Nice strong breeze. Should be pretty good right there, on the safe side, and it makes the green in regulation. Boy, this could be a tough one right here, Frank.
It's a very long putt, Rich. Obviously it's difficult, but he still has a shot to sink this one for birdie.
That was a good run right there. Almost went in.
At least he's seen the line as it went past the hole. So just replicate that on the way back.
You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Another par 4 here, the 11th. It's just under 440 yards. This time, there's water looming left and then bunkers on the right-hand side. It's a pretty good challenge, Frank.
This hole's very similar to the third hole on the front side. 2 bunkers down the right side. Just got to keep it a little left. You don't have to hit driver here. Long and straight.
That's how you do it. Wow, that is a monster drive down there, about 315 yards. Well, he's going to have to hit the same club a lot harder or just hit another one. Frank, can you recall a situation where before an important round, an instructor gave you one small tweak, maybe flare your left toe out, or just shift a little bit of the weight onto the back foot, where the instructor gave you that one small bit of advice and it made a huge difference?
Yeah, the list is too long, Rich, and it's normally just someone that you've trusted over the years, and we all make just little bad habits. Sometimes you're stooped over a little bit more than normal. You're not standing tall enough. The ball is too far back in your stance or too far forward. You're making a funny little move or your grip is different. It's always the little things that add up to the big problem. Well, there's a big green, and they're going to use every inch of it.
That one inside of 10 feet, really dialed in. From about 8 feet. Wow, I thought he made that. Oh, man.
I just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. So, they'll tap in. So, hanging in down the stretch with a par. Now to the par 5 12th. Frank, how good of a scoring opportunity is this?
Well, anytime you get a par 5 at Bay Hill, got to take advantage of it.
Well, this looks good.
Certainly is. Great Bobby Jones used to say the hardest shot in golf's the next one. Judging by that light, it's not going to be too hard.
Looks like he's going to have a go at it here at the par 5, his second shot.
Oh, I liked that.
So after the layup, Frank, here at the par 5 12th, hit shot here, try to make birdie.
Yeah, just use the contours of this green. You can actually get to this flag a lot of different ways. Using one of the mounds, there's nothing wrong with that.
There are a number of really good and important grow the game initiatives out there. One of those is the First Tee program, and that allows youngsters who otherwise might not have an opportunity, the chance to put a golf club in their hands, allows them the chance to pick up this game and learn some of the core values that come along with it. It's about much more than making a score. It's about integrity. It is about responsibility, values like that. And this game is so good in instilling those kind of characteristics in young people. On fire right now, 7 under par. Frank, this is an interesting hole. It's the par 4 13th, and it isn't necessarily a driver off the tee. What are the options?
Yeah, you break it down, 250 off the tee, leaves 120. There's nothing wrong with playing the hole that way. You get a little over-ambitious here and run out of fairway. That second shot over water, whoa.
Par 4 13th, Frank, how do you hit this approach shot?
Rich, it's the first par 4 at Bay Hill where the water is actually on the right of the green, and that has to be taken into consideration. Just a little errant shot, and then you're going to be wet. So a little left of the flag, that's where you want to be.
Good-looking shot right here. He's making the game look very simple right now. See it, hit it, and he's got it right on track. Settles in over the putt. You get the sense now with that birdie that our young star, so explosive, is setting himself up for a big weekend run. Frank, one of the things I like about Bay Hill is it requires you to hit clean, strong golf shots, and here's another case at the par 3 14th. It's more than 200 yards.
Another one, really, you've just got to play it through the air. You can't play this like an Open Championship run-up par 3. Must fly it onto the green.
Frank, you've been around this game for a pretty long time. Are players, in fact, more athletic today than they were, say, 20, 25 years ago?
There's no question, Rich, they are. That we've borrowed from other sports. If you can't make the player better, you can make them more athletic. And in the end, you're still making the golfer better.
Frank, this ball's in the rough. Anything you change in your technique when a ball's sitting down a little bit?
Yeah, you put the ball back a little bit further in your stance because you're going to get a bit of grass between the ball and the club face. So you have to allow for that. And keep that club moving. That grass is going to be that grass is going to create a certain amount of resistance.
How good was that, Frank, from the rough?
Oh, that's amazing. That's a masterclass in short game.
Not a gimme, but well within his range. Well, you just can't make up ground if you don't make putts. Drop shot here at the 14th hole. Just a couple of feet. So that's a drop shot. Frank, deep in the round at the 15th, you need to maybe make something happen. How difficult is that with such a huge dog leg here?
Once again, make sure you know the distance to carry the bunker or run out. You got to play to your strength.
Pretty good drive here.
Another straight one.
Well, those are good numbers right there. 320, 320 yards. Just crushed it in the fairway. Frank, what are you looking to do with this approach shot here at 15?
Anytime the flag's on the front, Rich, it's basically green light special. When the flag starts to get pushed towards that back area of that green, it starts to get narrower and narrower and narrower. And that's where you've got to be a little careful.
That one is bunker bound, it looks like. Oh, a bit unfortunate. Wasn't able to avoid the sand trap. Playing this par 4, still not on the green after that second shot.
But still not done. A good third shot. Maybe get away here with par.
So getting set for a greenside bunker shot. Frank, when I think of the great bunker players in the history of the sport, I think about Gary Player, Seve Ballesteros, whom you knew so well. What did they do that made them so effective on these greenside bunker shots?
They had an attitude for a start that was different. For them, it was they saw possibilities. And they would imagine the amount of sand. Remember, because this is the only shot in golf where you don't have to hit the ball first. So they would really choose the amount of sand behind the ball, whether that was an inch or two. Aimed the club at that and made sure they followed through.
So, Frank, out of the bunker and back into play.
Yeah, the late Bobby Jones used to say the hardest shot in golf's always the next one. Well, by getting the ball back in play, he just made that a little easier.
And he's made the green. "13 feet away. Just has the feel today. The Bay Hill Club and Lodge features a really exciting finishing stretch. 16 is a reachable par 5. You'll see eagles and birdies there coming home. 17, a very difficult par 3 over the water. The bunker is there, takes an excellent shot. And then 18 is all you want. We know that with the water in front, that second shot which comes over the lake, and that's a hold-your-breath moment. It is a great finishing 3-hole stretch at Bay Hill. Frank, this is a way to make golf easy when you can hit it that deep.
Oh, I'm going to say, I know that first number's a 3. I'm guessing the second one's a 2. Let's call it 320.
This one looks right on point. So a longer putt coming up next, about 30 feet away. Just want to nestle this one down to within a couple of feet. Frank, he might like this one. He might like those.
Normally you'd be happy to take 2 from there. What's one going to feel like? Great putt.
Frank, par 3 17th here at Bay Hill. How difficult is this hole?
This one takes your best tee shot, Rich. Otherwise, you're just looking at 4 or 5. Oh, this is heading in the wrong direction.
Uh-oh. Into the thick stuff. That's a difficult lie. Second shot from the rough. It's on the way.
Safely on the dance floor.
locked in on the read and the speed. Doesn't dig into the lead with that par, but Frank, sometimes, and you know this as well as anyone, you just have to kind of maintain your footing out there. Frank, this is a stout finishing hole, the 18th, isn't it?
Yeah, it finishes that great run of 16, 17, and 18, and so many times we've seen disaster and triumph just on those final 3 holes.
That's a good spot right there.
Center cut.
Frank, what's so compelling about rivalries in sports is that athletes need each other if they're going to go to great heights. Joe Frazier needed Muhammad Ali to solidify his legend. Jack Nicklaus probably needed Arnold Palmer to go to a place that he had not been. And I think that's true across the board as we look at rivalries in sports.
I think it defines careers, Rich. It's not until those players retire that they realised how important it was to have that foe. You know, so often we're living in the present like we are now with Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy. And it's not for years to come that we'll realise the sport wouldn't have been the same with one without the other.
Well, look out. This could be wet, Frank.
It's heading towards the hazard.
Frank, they threw him a life vest. He's back on dry land.
And I hope this time he swings, he doesn't have the water wings on.
Playing his 4th shot after the 3rd was wet. So, Frank, he'll take a drop here.
Yeah, he'll take his medicine, take his penalty shot. The hole's not over yet.
That looked like a miss hit, Frank.
The lie was okay. It's a little surprising. Maybe wrong club.
Always found this to be hard, Frank. You're seething, you're just fired up, you just knocked one out of bounds, and you have to kind of put it back together.
Yeah, this one better find the fairway.
You never want to be counting onto your second hand here because this is the 6th shot after going OB on that previous one.
Give me a break, Rich. Your mum could make that.
Ooh, that's a disappointment, Frank. And getting ready for the putt. That's a good day's work right there. Round of 67. There you have it, Frank. The first round is a wrap. We saw some good golf out there.
It was certainly a fun round to watch. There's a lot of great players in this field, and this is such an exciting venue. I just can't wait to see what happens the rest of the championship.
EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the third leg of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Today, it's live second-round coverage of the Orlando Classic. Hello again and welcome, Rich Lerner, alongside my friend Frank Nobilo. We're here in Orlando, Florida, at the house that Arnold built, the Bay Hill Club and Lodge. Frank, what are some of the toughest shots out on this golf course?
Second shot into 8 comes to mind when you've got that sort of long water carry to a very thin green. Probably only a club or so deep there, so it's very hard to get that to land soft. 17 and 18 are always difficult for any level of play. 17, the green is angled slightly to the right. Even though you're coming from an elevated tee, it's tough to judge the right club and get the ball to land softly. And of course, there's always the finishing hole that has to be navigated. Oh, if this is up, it's good.
Nicely played shot, about 310 yards down the fairway. Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special. This looks like it's heading for the bunker.
Well, he'll have to get up and down from the bunker to save his par. So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and now he'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. Let's see if he does it here.
And he's made it onto the green. Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. Good work right there. He'll settle for par. Back to the action here at the second. It's a par 3, demanding hole, Frank, isn't it?
Longest par 3 on the golf course. Slightly downhill, but you need every advantage here. It requires your best.
Wouldn't call it a great approach shot, but it still ends up in the fringe.
A little bit of magic from here. The hole's not over.
Frank, a little chip shot here from the fringe. Now, a lot of options. I've seen some players hit 6-iron. Others will shut down like a sand wedge.
Yeah, there's two schools of thought. Some people just try and perfect like one club, but really the best chippers chip with a variety of clubs.
And this will be a 5-foot putt here. He can't believe it. Thought it was in. Well, not going to make par here. He needs this to only give up 1. No problems there.
Yeah, keeps the round going. Keeps the momentum on his side.
Frank, now to the third hole, and where's the trouble here? That's fairly obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's one thing you don't want to remind yourself of. There's a bunker all the way down the right side. That's a good place to aim.
He makes a great pass at the golf ball. It's powerful, but it's rhythmic at the same time.
Oh, that's got to be 300 yards, isn't it?
Second shot, good look at the green.
Oh, solid strike right in the heart of the green.
Well, it's obvious he is in complete command of his golf ball right now. Par yesterday, now for birdie. Excellent read for birdie to move to 5 under for the tournament. Rich Lerner with Frank Nobilo back at the 4th hole here at Bay Hill. This is the first par 5 on the golf course. 561 yards. You thinking birdie here, Frank?
No, you certainly are. Perhaps even 3. This is almost ramrod straight, little hazard down the right side. But a good one, you can certainly get home for 2. There's something about a well-hit shot.
Excellent start off the tee. That's a great way to begin this hole.
Well, with a good shot here, Rich, this eagle on the cards, hole very reachable from where he is.
Don't get many opportunities like this. This is a good place to take advantage. Stuck the follow through right there. This could be really good. Crucial eagle attempt on the way. Long putt here. This will require a good touch.
We often say, Rich, you should always try and make it. I got to disagree with that. Lag putting, it's just about taking the strain off the next one. There's always other holes to be played.
And from that distance, you settle for 2 putts. Well, good birdie right there, Frank.
Oh, time to get another cup of coffee. Things are heating up.
Now to the 5th hole. Off the tee, Frank, how do these fairway bunkers sort of factor into your mindset as you prepare to tee off?
Well, if you watch the pros play on the Arnold Palmer Invitational, you see 2 different strategies here. Just an iron off the tee, give yourself a full shot in, or, well, if you're a longer hitter, take it over that bunker on the left. There's a bunker over there.
I think he's headed for it. Sometimes you get breaks, and he got one right there.
Yeah, I guess the bunker was a little smaller than I thought it was. It looked doomed for that.
And he's set up for his second shot here, looking to knock it on the green. Another good swing, and it looks like, Frank, another really good shot. Really in control of this hole. Birdie yesterday, and another opportunity on the way. This hole's been good to him. Birdie yesterday, and trying for another one today. But very impressive, and on the move right now. Frank, what's the thinking here as you step to the tee at the signature hole, the long par 5, 6th hole?
Well, the longer hitters can go at that big pine tree. Then it's reachable in two. And if you're a little shorter, then you've got to start to sort of aim at the middle of those two bunkers.
Oh, this looks good.
Certainly is.
Just a great pass at the golf ball, 310 yards, and in the fairway. Now the second shot to the par 5. All right, Frank, you've played it safe. Now you have that third shot. What's the best way to get to that hole location and make the birdie?
The angle of the green really does favor the layup shot because at least you're hitting across the length of the green, but it's a little bit like that third hole, a very narrow green. So once again, that wedge shot has to be very precise.
On the green, and a chance for birdie. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. Just continuing to play some really good golf. 8 under par for the championship. Frank, the good news as you come to the 7th after that beast of a par 5 is that it's just under 200 yards and there's no water.
Yeah, it's not as long as the second, but it's just as demanding. Very narrow entry into this green. Well, there's a big green, and they're going to use every inch of it.
No problems there. Really good approach shot. And now, good look at birdie. 15 feet away. Frank, you can feel the momentum shifting.
You can. It might look tight at the top at the moment, but you definitely get the impression we're going to see a change in the lead very soon.
Beautiful birdie right there. Good spot right there.
Center cut.
Frank, still relatively early in the round, but given what we've seen so far, this could be a heck of a golf round.
Yeah, right now everything's just going according to plan. It's like he's playing on all 8 cylinders. So really, you're just trying to get out of your own way.
Not too unhappy with that, Frank, at 17 feet.
No, from that distance, it's more than good. Really. This is an awkward length.
You can see why this player has been compared to a young Rory McIlroy, featured golfer making birdie and now sitting comfortably inside that cut line. Final hole now of the front side. It's a 474-yard par 4. And Frank, you've played it before. What works best here?
Well, ideally, a nice little draw off the tee. But the hole's quite weird because the tee shot shapes to the left, and yet the green goes the other way.
Wow, that is a monster drive down there, about 315 yards. Frank, you want to make the turn in style? We're here at the 9th, the approach shot, and what are we looking at?
Big green, one of the biggest on the golf course. This hole's changed a lot with equipment over the years, so long iron, even a mid-iron for some people, to a very generous green. Just pitch it on the front third, and you'll be having a birdie putt here at 9.
Frank, I think that's going to the bunker.
Looks like it.
Playing this par 4, still not on the green after that second shot.
But still not done. A good third shot. Maybe get away here with par.
Frank, just into that first cut.
Yeah, it's sitting up. Really, this isn't too bad a situation.
Coming out of the rough and right up next to the hole. Getting set now over the putt. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Excellent front side. Trying to keep it going here on the second 9.
He's just playing beautifully, hitting so many good shots, giving himself so many opportunities. Can he keep it going? Long and straight.
That's how you do it. Looks to be a good setup going into the green here at the 10th. Frank, the approach shot here to the par 4 10th. Decent chance for a birdie with a good shot?
It is really all about distance control. There's 4 different sections here at 10, but if you've got the right club in your hand, then you are looking directly at the flag.
Not his best shot, and now he'll have to deal with a bunker.
Yeah, they say the hardest shot in golf, the next one.
In the greenside bunker here, Frank. Nice to go to the beach, but not too often, we hope. That is always so disappointing from that kind of a spot when you come up short.
Yeah, you're licking your chops over that one. A shot you think you could hit directly at the flag. Now, test for the short game.
Wow, what a shot. Doesn't even need the putter. Now to the 11th with water left, bunkers on the right. Frank, what's the key here?
Well, too often people just look at the scorecard and they go, well, it's over 400 yards, I have to hit driver. You don't have to hit driver at 11. Something in the fairway just short of that second bunker. And it sits up, 6 or a 7 on.
Well, this one has a chance to be really good. That's a good start to the hole, right down the middle. This one will play a little bit longer. It's up the hill to that green. So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and now I'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. See if he does it here.
Well, Frank, this is something we've seen more and more of in recent years, players just on the fringe.
Yeah, it's good to see. It shows he's thinking. You don't just have to grab the lob wedge, and that's it. Hybrid, putt, you name it, whatever works.
Solid play, heart of the green. Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. Drops for a par. Frank, now we're at the 574-yard, par 5 12th. How critical are the par 5s if you're trying to put a score on the board here at Bay Hill?
They're crucial, Rich, because the par 4s are very, very difficult. So anytime you get a par 5, really got to take advantage of it. Rich, there's such a big advantage. You tee it up on a peg there. It should be an easy shot. But remember, this is the most powerful club in the bag. This is the one that you have to nail out of the middle of club face.
Demonstrating there and really all day that he is one of the best drivers of the golf ball in the sport. That was just a gutsy shot right there, and a good look at eagle coming up.
It's that sneaky distance.
That had to really hurt, Frank, because it looked good all the way.
Well, this will test his mettle.
Birdie putt coming up. Had a par on this hole yesterday. Pretty much doing everything right this week. 11 under for the tournament. At the par 4 13th now, this is a hole, Frank, that requires some smart club selection. What are the options here?
Yeah, very sneaky par 4. That bunker on the right is 250 yards or so off the tee. So you've either got a choice to play short of that or sneak it down the end, which is about 300 yards. But if you try and be bold here and miss the fairway, that second shot, evil.
Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Good-looking shot right here. Not terrible, but not his best.
Outside chance, really, for birdie, but really, it was a rather poor approach shot.
This for another birdie on this hole on the week. So a long putt there and just didn't read it quite right. Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. Good work right there. He'll settle for par. Another challenging par 3 here at Bay Hill. It's the 14th, 216 yards, Frank.
It plays uphill, prevailing breeze too, into your face, so normally much longer than its yardage.
Frank landed it on the green.
It was never going to stop.
No, no chance. Pretty good shot right there. Shouldn't be a problem here. He's made it. Frank, now to the 14th of par 3, and how difficult is this hole?
Once again, very narrow entry into the green, so ideally you want to fly the ball a little higher than normal, make it soft, make it land a little softer. There's something about a well-hit shot.
He has given this one the full treatment. Perfect release through the ball. This shot is on the fairway, over 300 yards. I like the looks of this one. Flared that one a bit to the right, but still not too bad. Different day, different hole. Made bogey yesterday. He'll do better this time, it looks like. Wow, that was so close, Frank.
Just time to forget that one. I mean, he couldn't hit that much better.
Just a couple of feet. Good putt. Back on the tee here at the 16th. Frank, lay it out for us. What's ahead on this hole?
Well, even though there's two bunkers, one on the left and one on the right, it's the shortest of the 4 par 5s. You can almost take those out of play and have just a mid-iron in here. But we all know what's coming up.
That's a good spot right there.
Center cut.
Frank, this is a way to make golf easy when you can hit it that deep.
Oh, I'm going to say, I know that first number's a 3. I'm guessing the second one's a 2. Let's call it 320.
That one is bunker bound, it looks like. Well, we've seen this before today, in the bunker. Great knees, great hands in this shot.
Yeah, touch. You have to have that feel. You have something between the ball and the club face, so it's a different feel, but you also have to have imagination.
Playing a par 5, Frank, what happened on that third shot?
Yeah, it's a poor decision. But well, hopefully he can eradicate that from the memory banks and really knuckle down on this. Do not want to drop a shot or make 6 here.
Frank, how about that?
Oh, can you believe that too? I mean, could have hit the flag and bounced away instead. Straight in. Amazing shot and really deserves it.
Frank, par 3 17. Daunting shot. What are you thinking as you step onto this tee?
Just make 3. 2 is a huge bonus. Take 3 in a heartbeat.
Frank, why are great rivalries so important? Why do we love them?
I think because people like to sit on one side of the fence. You're either for or against a great player. And I think we see that today with Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy. There's the McIlroy fans that think his future is so bright. There's the Woods fans that still want him to pass Jack Nicklaus's record. That's the beauty. You've got to have an opinion, and you have to have a player. Should be safely on deck.
Well, too bad, Frank. That one rolled right off the green.
It was just coming out so hot.
And it is in.
Amazing. Amazing.
2008, Frank. Tiger made that 25-foot putt right here at the 18th. Final round to beat Bart Bryant by a shot. Then again, for a second straight year, he birdied this hole to defeat Sean O'Hare.
He's had a similar putt there at least 3 or 4 times, actually, to win the event. And he's been one of the few players to read it correctly.
Pretty good drive here.
Another straight one.
He has just hammered this drive here at the 18th, and now he is in a really good position to make a birdie here on the final hole. Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
This won't hurt him. That is a beauty, a real beauty. Getting set now over the putt. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. So all the scores have been posted for round number 2, and look who is on top of the leaderboard, Frank.
Yeah, with 2 very solid rounds of golf. Key right now, just stay out of your own way and keep it up. The pressure will start to build. We know that as you get closer to the end of this tournament.